Hello, hello, and welcome to Sprangboro Sessions. This is episode number 62, in case anyone was wondering out there. Today we have You're Dumbfounded. Today we have Rage of Hell and myself, Sprangboro, all here. We're going to dive into some pretty cool topics in the gaming world. We're going to talk into some pretty cool topics about living life, and we're just going to try and get through and make you guys laugh a little and cry a little. I mean, out of laughter, of course. So, thanks for hanging out with us. Before we do get too far down the rabbit hole, which I'm excited to talk to you about that. But I did want to say thank you for everyone that supports the cast. I did start a new podcast on the side. It's called 40 to 400, which is the logo over that away past Rage of Hell's shoulder there. Just wanted to say, if you're into anything about bass guitars or anything, please feel free to check it out. I'm going to be streaming it next on Tuesday at I think 7 p.m. I'll put a post up on the Sprangboro Sessions page to let you guys know in case anyone wants to get on and be a part of it, or check the live feed. Anyways, so here's how we're going to get started today, if you guys don't mind. Last week, TJ and I were talking about a new free to play game that was going to be dropping on PC and Xbox and I believe PlayStation, all across the board, and it is called xDefiant. It is the newest installment of the Tom Clancy series. They are doing the beta for that game, to my understanding. If you sign up for the beta, it is next weekend. This weekend actually is another one, which is the very first closed beta for Halo Infinite, which I've got to watch some video play and checking that out. The game looks very awesome. I'm super excited about it. But xDefiant, Rage of Hell, welcome to the show. You got to watch the trailer before we started here. Initial reactions, initial thoughts, or anything you feel you want to bring up about that game? Well, TJ and I get ready to douse you with a lot of things with it. So please, the mic is yours.
Well, with what I've seen in this of the trailer, and what I've seen, I really liked a very fancy feel to it. It reminds me very much of like Wildlands. That was the last game we all played together, and I really enjoyed Wildlands. This has a newer, modern twist on it, where it's if I remember right, Tom Clancy's was first-person shooter, but then you could also be in third person as well while you're flying around and doing different stuff.
Do you remember what was that? Wildlands?
Wildlands, yeah.
Is that the
This
one
one
we
where you're taking
played a
out all the
lot?
drug cartels.
Yeah, that's right. Wildlands.
Some ones where it
That's
like
right.
glitch
You're
out quite
right.
a bit. So what I noticed that I really liked was the fact that they have all sorts of different new like power ups and the factions. That's what it was. They talked about the factions, and there's like 4 different ones that I've seen. They all have their unique special abilities. One of the things that caught my attention the most was the shield off of Titanfall 2 that you could throw down in front of you, and it would boost your bullets and make them fly. Yeah, and
AWOL.
that there's a different version of one on this new one, and it's like blue, and it can be destroyed with a frag grenade. It looks like. I don't know if it takes a certain amount of bullets to drop it, but that'd definitely be something super OP that they'll probably be tweaking quite a bit when the game comes out. But I'm pretty excited for that because that wall was a lot of fun. You could make a lot of people a little bit frustrated or have to change up their whole gameplay. Just because you get a big heavy machine gun, you get behind one of those walls and you can just let her fly. No, I was very impressed though, and the fact that it's going to be free, I'm definitely going to be playing that game because it looks really awesome.
Yeah, I definitely was pretty psyched to see that cover come up. There was another ability in there I saw that was another Titanfall ability was the cloak, where that guy went invisible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely be trying that out, taking that for a test run because that, as you remember, was my favorite ability in Titanfall.
Oh yeah. It is a lot of fun. I remember that. I remember you'd be walking across an open field sometimes, then all of a sudden you'd step on something, you'd be like, "Oh, hey, I just killed somebody," because they were trying to jump on my back. Didn't even see them there.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Or yeah, no, it held some really good stuff in that video. I mean, I was really impressed. The gunplay is what they said they were the most focused on, and with every shooter, that's the main thing that brings me in. All the other stuff is really cool, but if guns don't, work like they're supposed to, or they're just really weird. That's kind of why I don't play Call of Duty anymore, is because I don't like the way that the guns shoot.
Well, the thing with Call of Duty is the only thing that they can balance is the guns. There's no other gameplay to balance.
Yeah.
Map layout is important, but you can't rebalance a map once it's been created.
No.
Without actually doing like Apex Legends or the hell's that? The castle building.
Oh, Fortnite.
Fortnite, yeah. Those two games, they have, I guess, what you would call an active map, which every so often, every season or so, or every couple of seasons, they do a big map change, like something cataclysmic happens. Apex Legends has it like I think it's every couple of seasons in Apex Legends. The one thing that I'm worried about, well, there's a couple things. Balance is tough. It's tough even when you have just guns to try and balance gameplay out so that all the guns feel useful. So it's not just a meta of everybody using, like that shotgun. Remember, it was like a sniper rifle in Call of Duty in Black Ops.
Yeah, when you put that one scope on it, it was like a sniping shotgun.
And and it's just like, and it took forever for them just to balance that, So, and the M4 when it first came out in the 2019, that the M4 was the gun to use, and everybody used that gun because it was OP. And it took them a long time to finally say, okay, we're gonna dial that back to fix it. Now imagine balancing ability. How OP they are. You know what I mean? Like X is doing 3D. Yeah. And they have a similar video. So it'll be interesting to see how they balance it. And it's tough to balance it even when you have just 3 players on a team. I don't know if they're going for a 4v4 or 6v6. I didn't catch that on this.
Is that all it is?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many players. In Apex, it's only 3 people on a team. So,
true.
And it's hard to balance everything so that you're not like always running the same 3 people. I just don't want to see it, because it's a free to play game. I don't want to see it go, because with a free to play game, the business model is to keep people spending a little bit of money all the time,
the
so that they get a revenue.
or whatever.
Like Apex has done a phenomenal job of doing that. Unfortunately, they've gotten a little out of hand with their pricing lately. It's gotten to the point where it should probably drop down a little bit. But anyways, the other problem is that could be a potential game killer is their anti-cheat software, which Apex ran into for a little bit there as well, and still to this day has some problems with. Because it's free to play, people can just make another account. It doesn't cost them anything. So cheating in a free to play game becomes pretty prevalent. And right now, Ranked in Apex is facing that a lot because it was a free to play game. So yeah, so that's the only I've been sitting here kind of just thinking about it for like the past week, and that's really some things I see can be like of live or die for this game. Obviously gameplay is like the number one. The anti-cheat is a very big one, because even if your gameplay is good, cheaters are going to cheat.
Yep. Yeah. The downfall.
That's the main reason. Yeah. That's the main reason I cannot play Warzone, is because when you have a game that has 250,000 people that get banned simultaneously, different periods of time, because there's that many people cheating. Like, that's not even, I want to play a game where there's not cheaters. I don't cheat, so I don't want to play the game.
You have to play a full-price multiplayer game. That's pretty much how it is.
Although Rocket League, I've never noticed any cheating in. That's one nice thing about that game.
Oh, we've noticed. We don't really know much about it. And not only that, Rocket League doesn't have like the stats, you know what I mean? Like stats aren't a big they're not um, a big draw for that game. Your kill percentage and
It's
all
more just
that.
like a fun play, unless you're wanting to get really into the competitive, which
Yeah.
it's very competitive. I mean, let's not get that wrong. That stuff gets very
it's very competitive, but it's a very niche market. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but if you're going to have something
driving
with
circles.
as big of a market as Tom Clancy, you know, win a lot of people, other people, but
Gears
it's just multiplayer in general.
Gears of War communities are very very toxic at times. I haven't played Gears in a long time, but you can get some people open very quickly without ever even doing anything. It's a Hunt Showdown. I've got more messages on that game than I used to get on Call of Duty back in the day, and it's just because of people value their hunters a lot more. You know, they work on them for 3 games in a row of 30 minutes a game, only to round a corner and get shot right in the face and lose that hunter. You know, and it's a unique game. That's what's unique about all these games. That's why I'm so pumped about this new Tom Clancy game. Is there's some very unique parts to it. I noticed some old style weapons. I noticed some new style weapons. I noticed some sliding.
Mm-hmm.
While I was like sliding, and he shot a shotgun and then turned and shot the other guy with a shotgun just like that quick. It's gonna be me.
Very fast paced, which is a
like
lot of fun for first person shooters. Going with what you guys are saying, what does it for me with Call of Duty, honestly, the game itself is fun. It's always going to be what it is. The last game I played, I got on there and I don't know. I didn't have the most amazing game, but I wasn't, I didn't do too bad. My KDR would have been, higher than 50%, we were playing on an aggressive team, so all the guys at the upper, towards the top. For instance, the one guy had 43-2. Like, it was a pretty aggressive lobby that we were in, and the guys on my team were pretty rocking it. And if you're not in the front, where are you at? That's right, you're in the back. So I was the one that they would respawn, and then they would kill me because everywhere I'd go, I was just getting dropped because everybody else was killing them so fast. And I ended up getting a message after the game, and this guy's like, he said something about, "Hey, Sprangboro, you should probably uninstall the game," and something about me, being such a shitty player. And I laughed, because it's just, some little kid or some young or some adult, just sitting there saying something like that, trying to make their friends laugh. And I'm like, you know what? I just spent the last day downloading this 100 and some gig game. And when a lot of people don't mind, they'll just turn on a game and let it download. Well, we stream and we play games, and whenever you're taking the resources away from doing downloads, then you're losing all that extra speed and stuff for everything else. So it's dedicated download time, and I'm like, dude, I just spent all this time downloading this game to just get on and play with a bunch of toxic people, because like that was the last game. All the rest of the games we played that day was the same way. And I know that it doesn't matter, you just ignore it. I'm just like, dude, I'm almost 40 years old. I definitely ain't got time for all this. Like, I'll play it when I'm ready. And I did. I got on and played it, a couple games since then. But it wasn't like I wanted to get on there and grind the game where it's like, oh, here we go, boys, time to dive in and play this game for the next several days and never several months. It wasn't like that, because every time you get on there and you're like, okay, here we go, boys, about to play some Call of Duty. Then you start playing Call of Duty and you're just like, oh gosh, you guys
playing Call of Duty.
you guys are sweet, But again, when you're playing a game that's that so many players and all that stuff like that, you're going to run into that more. And after a little while, I played the game a time or two since then. And then I went on there the other day. I was like, all right, I'm going to get on and play me some Call of Duty. You know what? I'm in the mood for it. Let's go play some Call of Duty. Click, 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 click. Update. Okay. That's fine. 94.36 gigabyte. Okay. You know what? I don't think I give a shit that much. Because now this game that I just spent how long downloading to deal with people, I'm like, I gotta have to do that again.
You're re-downloading half the game.
You know what?
Re-downloading half the
That's okay. So then, like, honestly, I've gotten on there a couple of times, like probably 3 or 4 times in the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just go. Screw it, man. I'm hitting the download button, and I'll be sitting there, and it'll be like 8% downloaded, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. You know, we're gonna do this. And then it says that there's how much time's remaining for another 90 some gigs. You know what? Just gonna pause it. And I'm just gonna go play Rocket League. You know. So for me, as a gamer or whatever you want to call me, that's what's holding me back from wanting to play Call of Duty and any of them games is they are so massive and they require these, like, it's like they update every other week, and then as soon as they update, these updates are so ginormous that it's like, dude, I know on an Xbox console, and I could do it on my PC where you leave it turned on and you can have it do automatic updates. Well, that's great, but me, I just don't have that in me. And I mean, Christ, that update would take somebody with a weaker connection days and days to download to just get on there, and for such toxic stuff that you just like, you know, I just don't have this in bandwidth right now for that. So me with xDefiant and Halo and all the other new games coming out, we're going to run into the same situations. We're going to deal with the same toxic people, but it's not going to be fucking Call of Duty. So it's going to be fine to me, you know, because then you're grinding on a new concept, a new game, a new concept, a new set of rules, a new set of classes and factions. And I think that's going to be great for xDefiant. Halo, it's just customizable. It looks great. If you guys look at the gameplay and everything looks super smooth. It's going to be Halo, so it's going to be, you know, mostly pistols and, you know, whatever rifle you start out with. But if you get the power-up weapons or the weapons that are laying around generally, then you're going to have a better ability and more of an opportunity to win the game with your team if you have those higher rated rifles and things, kind of like similar to Gears of War and them other games. Their Halo's new take on it is they have these gun boxes and it's on the wall. So you think of like Apex Training and those kind of games. You just walk up to it and you grab the gun and you go. It looks great. We'll dive down that rabbit hole one of these days whenever we get more information on that. I can't wait for that, but xDefiant I think is going to be kind of a breath of fresh air in my opinion. When we started playing Titanfall and we started playing Ghostland, Tom Clancy's Wildlands and stuff, Ghost Recon, those games, they were a breath of fresh air because they were so different than the day-to-day grind. The Division, that game was awesome. There was so much involved. It gets overwhelming and frustrating at times, but the gameplay was smooth. I remember us getting on Wildlands and we'd be sitting there and Todd be over there, shh. I'm sending my recon in, guys. Sending my recon in. And so TJ's sitting over at the left. He's like, all right, we have a bogey at 300 west east. If you take out one, I'll take out 4 and 3, and then Ty will finish tagging all the rest of them. We got it? Yeah, sounds good. So then we'd go in like a squad, and we meant to do that together, working together as a team. It's not like Call of Duty in those games where you just go and you just try to kill everybody before you get killed. There's really not much objective to it. Yes, survival is a whole set of techniques and it's a set of skills, and it takes a certain amount of time and practice and IQ for the game to be able to do that. But Wildlands was so different because every faction, every mission had a different set of things that you had to achieve. And it was very awesome. Like, you might have a guy that was running the recon. You might have a guy that was doing the lookout. You might have a guy or a girl, that is doing this or that. And I think that's what's going to make, because that was so great and it was so well effective and well perceived from the community that was playing the game at the time as being a breath of fresh air. And it was awesome. It made multiplayer so cool in Ghostland or Wildlands. I think it was Ghost. What did they call it? Was it
Ghost Recon?
Ghost Recon.
It was a Tom Clancy's
but
Ghost
what did
Recon
they call
Wild.
that multiplayer version that they ended up coming out with it on that game?
Oh.
Was it Ghost?
Maybe it was
While
good.
you,
It was
TJ,
one
if
of
you
the
don't mind looking
smoothest.
it up real
Looking
quick,
up.
but it was really awesome for a multiplayer because you were playing
Oh
like a
yeah.
first person shooter. You kind of got the same concept. You're just gonna go in there and try to not die. But you have a recon drone that you can fly over there with your recon drone. I don't know if they brought it over to the multiplayer, but like you could have one of your teammates is over off to the side. He got shot because he was over there counting daisies in the corner over there. Usually that's Sprangboro that's doing that, by the way. And then you could have somebody that could send a medic recon over to you, and then they'll pick you up with their machine. And it was just such a different take
That's nice.
on that multiplayer experience for me personally. So I am very curious and excited to see how they're going to do those different factions and how they're going to do uh, that. But the gameplay looks great. Everybody, the aspect and the player height ratio, I think, is really awesome. That game looks fast paced. It reminds me of Titanfall 2 when it first come out, dude. You just straight, balls to the wall. Let's go in. Let's kill as many bots and as AIs and as many people as we can, and then call in our big badass Titans and just go whoop the ass. Uh, so I think that is going to be really awesome. And then, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that from the last week since we talked about it last there, TJ, about Defiant?
Like I said, I'm excited for them. I was excited for new multiplayer games that kind of are a little bit more in depth than just the Call of Duty. Like I like Call of Duty at the end of the day, but I've played a lot of the same game reskin. I think that's why I liked like Black Ops 4 a lot. So was that they added new depth to it with the suits, um, and uh, and the abilities and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think it was a welcome refresh. And I know they did suits in a couple of games before that, two games before that. Um, but they just those seem to just be like the game, and then they just added on a new movement set. Four seemed to get it tiled in just right with the balancing and all that. But yeah, I'll be interested to see like what the other abilities are, what the cooldown is for these abilities, how if because a lot of times like that's a good way to nerf or buff a character or a play style to balance it would be to adjust the cooldown, maybe buff how long it stays, how much damage a shield can take, maybe take some damage away that it can sustain before it falls. These are a lot of like really good ways to buff things without actually like making the guns do more damage, which with some studios, or let's face it, a lot of studios, that seems to be the the key way that they balance stuff. Is really with guns, the easiest way to balance a gun is to make it do more damage or make it do less damage. We saw that again with the M4, the M14, and the shotgun in Call of Duty. Um, those seem to be like what they, whenever they put a new gun in, obviously they're going to make it OP because they want people to go into they want people to go into the battle pass, spend that money. And I just hope that they don't do that too much with this game, where it becomes like, okay, if you're on a battle pass, you pay to win. But I think again with the abilities, it'll have a better chance of countering those type of play styles. Those players that just go out and buy all of the stuff inside the battle pass, and those battle pass, those packs, where you buy like a skin, a gun, a camo, a chunk, you know what I mean, for like $12 or whatever, and you get this like OP gun. I'm hoping that these abilities will kind of counter that, kind of balance more. But again, like I said, balancing in this style of game is not easy. I mean, look at Overwatch. How the meta of the game in Overwatch. How it is, how it was. When
I did
we were
play that
playing it.
last night. I just want to let you guys
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So it's really hard to balance all those things. Never mind just 1v1. You're trying to balance it in a squad game where you're you've got multiple players, that are thinking outside the box, because you can only play test stuff for so long. And in Apex, like every week they're putting out new patches to balance things. To take a cooldown of an ability. Like, and actually in Apex, I think Apex has done it the best. I hate to to suck on the Apex's virtual dick here, but they really in gameplay wise, they've kind of dropped the ball with anti cheat software stuff, but with gameplay wise, they've really taken it above and beyond. They've retooled characters' complete abilities. They've changed how characters' abilities work. They're not just stuck with, okay, Lifeline. I think had I think some of the most ability changes in the game so far, where she would just drop a drone. She would drop a drone to heal people, but then she'd still pick people up like regular. Well, then they changed it so that her ability now, she would get like faster healings. I think she'd heal herself faster with items. I can't even remember now. It's been so long and how many changes she's gone through. But then they changed her ability where instead of picking a character up herself to revive something, she would drop her drone, and her drone would have a shield that faced from the way, and that would give that person time to get up. Well, people started using the drone and that shield and standing behind that shield smartly, using it as cover. So it became like, and she could still stay in the fight while reviving somebody. She still to this day is one of the higher picked people. They got rid of that shield because it was just OP. They tried to change it. I think they nerfed it a little bit where they made the shield take a little less shots. But it just got to the point where it was still, no matter how long it was there, it was still OP because it was giving you that edge in a gunfight. And a lot of Lifeline mains said about that. I mean, my guy Caustic, he's gotten so many nerfs, that they're finally going back to buffing him next season.
Oh damn!
Because he was he's useless. People would run through all of his gas and still run at you instead of being terrified to take damage and be slow. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And I'm just wondering how many different. It looked like they had 4 factions with 3 characters, styles at each.
That's what I see.
So you figure that's 12. 3, 6, 9, yeah, 12 different ability sets. And not to mention how many of those abilities start to mimic another's in some way or form, But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm interested in, definitely interested in it. I signed up for the beta. I don't know if I'm going to get in or not.
I'm going to sign up for it just to try it out. It looks really good.
I was checking it out. I haven't seen an email yet to tell me that I've got it in yet.
You remember how in Titanfall, I always used to like to run the Scorcher? I could shoot the gas canisters and then shoot the fireballs and use the fire shield and all that stuff. The flamethrower looks really cool in the new Tom Clancy's. Like, it looked like that flamethrower is going to do.
Yeah.
And
your Scorch guy's canisters are what Caustic used. That's what his lore is from. Mm-hmm. Like, he made that Nox gas.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it was really fun running him in Titanfall, and this new one looks pretty badass. I'm definitely pretty excited to try this game out. When did you guys say it's being released? The beta's this next weekend, but have any idea on when
it's supposed to be sometime this year. They haven't given the official release date yet, but I imagine it's going to be, because Halo Infinite drops at holiday of 21, which will be November or December, and I imagine Tom Clancy wants to get theirs. They're going to want to get theirs out either before that or after it, because doing it at the same time would not be very smart at all. And I'm talking, It can't be within like 2 weeks of it. They got to be separated, in my opinion. Because like Titanfall 2, when that came out, and that game you were talking about, was that Battlefield? You know,
Yeah.
the communities, they were, a lot of the players were split because they were trying to try the new game, but they were also trying to try the other new game. And so it became a decision that had to be made. And again, people are like, oh, it's just a video game. You can get on there and play whenever. Yes, absolutely. You can get in a car and drive it whenever as well. But it's just more fun whenever you're going there for the first look and the first everything. Get on there with your friends and streaming it for people nowadays, Christ, people will never know what we used to do when new games were coming out. These pretty in the last couple of years, this generation, they're very blessed with the privilege of getting to go and have the game already pre-downloaded, all the current updates up to date, and then at midnight when it drops, they would be able to get on and play. Oh, but then of course there's the smarter ones that would go and change the date and the time on their Xbox to be able to go and get to it early, But back in the day, what did we used to do? That's right. We'd all go to GameStop or
Midnight release.
Walmart or wherever our closest gaming distribution place was, and you would go like weeks early or a couple days before it, and you say, take my money, take me my money, put me on that list, I will be here, I want my games so I can get on and play. Now let me tell you, that was so much fun because we would all go and everybody be sending pictures like on cell phones to each other, like with the receipt, like got mine, bang, got mine ready, bang, see you boys in a couple days, bang, let's do this. And
See you in a
everybody
couple
was like,
hours because we had to download everything still.
It was so funny because then what would we do? That's right, we'd go to that place and we would sit there and we would wait and we would wait and we would wait in lines of people to go in and get this game. Hopefully they didn't run out of copies of it because that would be very upsetting and frustrating and annoying. But so then it's funny because every time you go there and you're standing in the line, you see people you saw the year before when the game was coming out. Like, oh, what's up? Like, oh, I remember you. Oh, hey, what's going on? Lost, not fallen. Hey, what's going on there? It was fun, man. This new generation, newer game generation, they don't have to do that. And it's actually, we will tell you from our experience, it is better that you don't have to do that because that was equally a frustrating time because you would go through all that standing in the lines and stuff. You'd get the game home, you'd pop it in, and as soon as you could get you jump on there and you'd be playing the game before that. You'd be listening to having conversations with your homeboys like, oh dude, 59 minutes boys, let's go. And then you get in the game, right? How many times did this one happen, Rage, right? We'd get on there, right? We'd be ready to go. We get in the game, like, oh shit, boys, let's go. TJ's like, let's go. You hit go, and then it says, unable to join server.
Yeah,
almost every single Call of Duty launch.
All those times. There's a lot of times that happened.
Almost every single Call of Duty launch had happened to us.
And there was just I remember playing the missions, like playing the campaign for the first night or for first few hours because the servers were being so overloaded that like we would just be playing the campaign or something. Everybody would be in their own little area, but we'd all be in the party chat just like talking, or maybe some people were actually able to play the game while some of us couldn't play the game.
Go to sleep. Campaign.
I've taken a good long break from all Call of Duty, all PUBG. The only games I'm even playing right now are Hunt Showdown and Rocket League. And that's the ones I enjoy the most. But with this new game coming out, the X game, which I've already forgot the name of it, but
xDefiant.
xDefiant, there it is. xDefiant and the new Battlefield 2042. Those are the top two games that I think I'm going to be playing over the next period of time, just because I've always been a big Battlefield fan. Never really liked it when it was all based on modern stuff. Didn't like the World War II version one, but the World War I version one was by far my favorite. It was a lot of fun. And that came out when Titanfall 2 came out, and that came out when I believe Black Ops 3, or there was some other big title that came out at the same time as Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1. And it just like everybody was so torn between all these different games that were so good that they just didn't know what to get. And or they would get whatever game, like let's say they bought Battlefield because all their friends were playing Battlefield, and you can have 16 people all in the same friends list in a game together, fighting together. And that's what
those two games kind of cannibalized Titanfall at the launch. But Titanfall still has a very, loyal following. It's just, again, I think that pretty much sealed the deal on any other Titanfall games being made.
Yeah, sadly. But then Apex came out, and Apex has done very well. And so who knows what the future will hold as far as the Titanfall community goes. I do kind of wish that you could get a Titan in Apex. Like it'd be like the really hard to get. You had to do a whole bunch of stuff or get so many kills and then call in a Titan. And then when you call in your Titan, it gives the other team stuff like the laser shoot your Titan and stuff.
They just introduced a new character last season called Valkyrie, who is the daughter of the Apex Predator guy that was in your favorite game.
The Ronin?
What was that, Titan? The flying one.
The Ion.
Star.
Or North Star.
No,
North Star.
North Star, yeah.
North Star.
The North Star pilot.
One you can catch the bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the North Star Titan pilot, or his daughter, took apart the flying apparatus and made a backpack out of it in Apex Legends, and can fly.
She's my favorite to use. If I ever play the game. Yeah. Which I do here and there. But yeah, dude, Valkyrie, she's awesome.
Yeah, Apex really tied the universe together and added to the lore. I love it. I think it's got a deep story if you want to find it, or you don't have to. But there's even in the lines, like the little quips that they use, because all the characters are voiced. So like when you're playing the game, and you're interacting with stuff, you're interacting with a door or whatever, or clicking here, or getting in, engaging in a fight. Your character is talking to your team, so you don't have to communicate. Like you just listen to their call outs. So like if my guy was under fire, he'd be like, he'd say, I'm getting shot at over here, but and they're hitting me is one of Mirage's lines. So and your teammates hear that, so they know, okay, he's getting shot at, and he's in a fight. We need to go to him, or they'll call out like ring's kind of far away. Really need to get a move on. You know what I mean? Like to give you a heads up. Hey, the ring. We got a long ways to go, and the ring's closing. There's a lot of cool stuff. They really went in deep in the game, and I appreciate it. Like the characters all, they all have, not all of them, but they all have like they all have a backstory. Well, they all have a backstory, but a lot of their backstories intertwine with each other. Like they'll have a past together, or they know each other, and stuff like that. And in the quips in the game, they'll talk about stuff like that. Like there'll be certain quips that they say that are related to that. So it's pretty cool. It's there's a lot of voice dialogue, a lot of thought, and a lot of care that went into creating the whole world and creating this universe 20 years after Titanfall, because that's when this takes place. Is 20 years after the the war, the final war in Titanfall. So it's kind of cool. I'm definitely digging it. They definitely went like all in on the world building.
I did love the campaign. Too. The campaign was one of my favorite, especially the whole when you got to like the giant factory that like built stuff, like built houses and districts, and that was really fun.
My favorite part was when he threw the pilot BT through Cooper.
Yeah,
he's like, and you see it from.
Oh yeah, and like look back,
he's holding his hand down like, and he goes like this, and just like trajectory, success. For the line is what he handled off with the success percentage.
Yeah. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
that was probably my favorite part of that campaign as well. Uh, do you know a game that we played that I absolutely loved the campaign? Uh, I enjoyed a lot doing the Gears ones
Mhm.
with Ty. We do when your connection was like holding, we were going in, and then when it wasn't, we'd be running through. We ranged side by side. I'm starting to shoot guys, and then I look to my left, and Ranger's just standing there. I'm like, "Is he not gonna shoot these dudes?" He's like, "I'm lagged out. I'm coming back in. I'm coming back in," and I'm like, "Oh man, that. I gotta protect him too." Oh shit! Do you remember? It was
Oh
like
yeah,
that one game where we would be flying the helicopter, Wildlands, and you were
yeah.
flying in the helicopter. We're all sitting there. TJ's up in the front with his little helmet on and his little microphone piece, and he's just talking like TJ, like, "All right, guys, we're gonna go in and we're gonna start at the left, off to the northeast. We're gonna go 4 clicks, and then we're gonna." And I'm sitting there like running, just hanging out in the back, like looking around, like, "God, the view up here is amazing." And Ty be talking to us, and he's like, "I think we're gonna go over there." We're like, "Cool." So then we're heading that way, and we're heading that way, and heading that way, and then all of a sudden, we're heading that way right into the mountain.
My favorite was this. I believe we all got to experience this when the game first came out, and that's where it would throw you out of the passenger seat. You'd be flying in the helicopter with people on either side, of course, the pilot and the co-pilot. But then the guys on the side would lag out or glitch to the point where it would start. You would start like falling and then shooting right back up into the helicopter,
Oh,
and
over
then
and
it would
over and over
put
and
you
over and
on
over.
top of the helicopter where you're on the blades, and I believe it would kill you when it would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I remember that being one of the biggest glitches when the game first came out. That game was an absolute blast. It became very repetitive there towards the end, but it was a lot of
Because
fun.
the storyline it didn't have anywhere new going.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's why
The,
we stopped playing.
the
That's correct.
Predator, the Predator expansion, when they did the whole, like the alien spaceship
Mm-hmm.
crashed in. I don't know if you guys ever got to play that or
Oh
Oh
not.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we played that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually had
Remember?
Maria played and was like fighting the Predator, and she got really into that game just from doing that. She doesn't really get into video games that much. She's played a little bit of Rocket League with us, just a little bit, but yeah, that she was really into that Tom Clancy. So maybe she'll really like this game too. She'll be able to get a little more of a feel for it. Of course, I'll turn her out in training mode or something like that, to where she can get adjusted to the game, because shooters are a whole different ball game. That's
Oh
something.
yeah.
If you've never played shooter video games and somebody just hands you a controller, you're
Yeah.
lost. You're like, what do I do? So, which is
Um,
about with every video game. You could be playing Forza and not have a clue what to do because you don't know how to e-brake and you know push
the
corners and whatnot.
I think the most fun, going back to it, the most fun campaign that I personally experienced, in my opinion, was when TJ and I were going through Destiny 2 with, I think it was with Jerry and Justin or something. But when we were playing that game and we would go into do the stories and stuff like that, because it was all brand new, it was so exciting and so like
I
the
think that was just
story.
you and me when we started
I think it
when
was
we beat
just you
that
and I
game.
as
Yeah, it was
well,
you and me when we beat the original Destiny.
because we got the opening
Destiny
night
2.
or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because we game shared. But I remember that storyline was just so awesome, and it was just so much fun to play, and everything. The graphics were amazing, and I remember we just were going through that storyline together, and it was awesome. And then again,
Yeah, it
just
was a
like
lot.
Wildlands, it got so boring because the story it wouldn't be so bad. It would not be so bad if you were doing a bunch of different missions on a bunch of different areas of maps and places,
Yeah,
but you were doing 5 missions on the same exact map in the same exact sequence of plays that you were doing. You just got a different reward at the end of doing it. No, change the
yeah,
shit. Like
yeah.
that's why I stopped playing D2. But that
But granted, they
campaign.
have fixed that. They changed that a lot. Um, this last thing they did, you know what I mean? This last big stuff they did. They actually got rid of a couple of planets because they had so much content that they had to like almost sort of reboot uh, the areas you were going to.
Wow. So I think that's why I am intrigued about xDefiant, because Wildlands, when we were playing that game, oh my God, was it so much fun.
Oh yeah.
You were playing together like a team. You had to survive, and you would do different missions where you would go in like really quiet, and then you'd be like, everybody would be like, make sure you're quiet, make sure you're quiet, make sure you're quiet. I come running in, look at the daisies, you know. uh yeah. Or it'd be all quiet, and then all of a sudden, Rage would be like, all right, guys, I'm pulling up on it. I got them right in my crosshairs. You guys ready? Three." And then he'd get quiet. Let's go. And then bam, takes the shot, and it would drop that guy. TJ was focused on that guy to shoot at that time. I was focused over here. Oh, that was so much fun with Jafron,
Oh yeah.
remember? Or Jafron, or however you said it. But yeah, dude, that game was awesome. So X Defiant's got to be cool if it's going off the core of any of that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think that this is. They said it was the multiplayer, their take on multiplayer. So I just don't know.
Just so you know, you are muted, Ty.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
I forgot I
gotcha,
was on my
bro.
nose a minute ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. The special abilities is going to bring in that teamwork together that we used to enjoy so much in Wildlands. Because if you're the guy with the shield and you're trying to push into an area against one of the other teams, and you're all working together, I mean, you could drop the shield, everybody's protected, and if the shield drops, you've at least put bullets or put people down or put yourself in a better situation. Maybe. I mean, who knows? There's so much unknown with this new game coming out, but it looks very good. It looks very promising. The gunplay looks very, very good. And when they brought it up not only twice, 3 times, that they are solely focused on how those guns operate and how they're going to be, how everything needs to be, like, they don't really care so much about the map look or all that other stuff. It's just the guns. And that's what I really appreciate about Hunt Showdown is there is some guns that are better than other guns. In the end, you can use the cheapest gun and be just as effective as the most expensive gun. Just the most expensive gun shoots a lot of bullets a lot faster, or reloads quicker, or has some sort of feature.
Hmm.
But as far as actual damage that's done, balanced between all the different guns in the game. And that's what I've always loved about that game so much. That and it's melee. There's a whole bunch of melee that goes into it. But xDefiant, it's going to be pretty awesome. The different classes, I mean, I barely seen any of them
Yeah, they need
in
to
that
come in.
trailer, but what I was seeing, I understand half of them. Like whatever the chick that was green, or had, I don't know if that's poison, but then her teammates, like boosted them. Or
Yeah, I don't
something
know.
like
I don't
that.
know if
I
that
don't
was like a
know.
boost to their abilities, like, or if that was a boost to their stamina,
Stamina recovery
or
type of thing.
maybe, or I don't know how
All
health works
sorts
in
of
that. If
stuff.
it's going to be like Call of Duty, where you recover health after stopping a shot for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's
I
going to
wonder if
be
there's
like,
I wonder if there's going to be like assassinations and stuff that you can do, because that was something you could do in Wildlands. You could sneak up on a guy, you could grab him, use him as a meat
Oh yeah,
shoot.
yeah, I do remember that.
Literally, just like you could assassinate him or something. If you get behind somebody in multiplayer, I seen the one guy
Mhm.
had like the radar view where he could see through walls and stuff, and he snuck behind the whole team and he started just shooting them all. Of course, I don't think I even seen more than 2 get shot, so I'm pretty sure maybe it's only teams of 3. If it's 4 factions,
Yeah.
3 teams, 4 teams of 3, that's 12 players. That's what's so good about Hunt Showdown. Is it's a maximum lobby of 12 players. I like games like that.
Yeah.
I like games that have a lot of players in them, but the more people you start adding in, the more things can get complicated. If you're a 3-man team facing a 3-man team, and the other 3-man team is trying to recover from facing off the other 3-man team, you can get this fight done and over with, and then transition to team B or C. So
Yeah, but
that's
the thing also I want to find out is it 3 versus 3 versus 3 versus 3 at the same time with no respawns, or is it 3 versus 3 versus 3 versus 3, yeah, 3 versus 3 versus 3 versus 3 on a larger map with respawns. Um, because if you're going to do respawns with that many players on at a time, um, it's going to be chaotic. You're not really going to be able to work together as much because unless the respawns send you back to a specific spawn point, which could be
Or
again
onto a
as we know Call
specific
of Duty.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, with Call of Duty, that wasn't exactly all that fun when you got spawn camped. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'll have to delve a little bit more into how the actual gameplay goes. I don't know if they even released anything on that. It didn't really specify in. I'll have to watch the trailer again and just see if I can pick up on the screenshots if
Yeah.
it has any tells for that or not. Because
I do
I'd
look
like it to
really
be like
cool.
a 4v4 or 5v5 where it's you know um, like Call of Duty or what's it called? Um,
Titanfall was 6v6, wasn't it?
yeah,
Titanfall 2,
Mm-hmm.
6v6, with all the bots added in, which the bots and the AIs really, that's what made that game so much fun. 'Cause, I mean, you could just kill the
yeah,
bots and AIs and get your Titan and then just go ham. Or be,
yeah.
slaughtering some AIs and drawing in people from the enemy team only to, have a trap set for them because they don't know. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I
It'll
really
be
enjoyed
interesting.
a lot of different stuff on that game. Yeah, the throwing stars. I don't know if you guys remember the throwing stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Gravity
Yep.
stars
gravity
or
star that
whatever.
would like suck everything towards it. Then they had like the fire star. That fire star was a lot of fun.
They have in Apex. They have a star throwing star you throw that's electric based. So throwing it,
It does the
it
what?
it's electricity based. So when you
Ah,
throw it,
okay.
it explodes with an electricity burst and slows you down, does damage, breaks doors,
Nice.
and then they've got like a
That's cool.
thermal grenade that when you throw it, it leaves a trail where it lands. Uh,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, and it
yes,
shows like what's around it. They're pretty fun, pretty awesome. It makes the gaming future seem like there's actually going to be a future of something refreshing and new. Because when Call of Duty was coming out, like we talked about, it was exciting. It was going to be great. It's going to be a new take on the game, but here we are still talking about it like another Call of Duty, and like, screw it. So yeah, I'm ready for something fresh and
Absolutely. I got to get going here
yes, sir.
because people
It's
are gonna be
time.
showing up here real quick, and she needs help getting the kids ready. But I can't wait to join you guys next Sunday for more of this, and hopefully it won't be near as busy because it's just been nonstop every
Oh
Sunday.
man, hey, we're
good to
just
have
glad
you.
you were able to have a couple minutes to come and hang out.
Absolutely, boys. I had an absolute blast. Until next time, y'all stay happy and healthy. We'll see you later.
But take care.
Later, bro. Yeah, it was definitely nice to get to see our buddy today. It's been a little while since we've got to hang out.
Uh,
Just cleaning up the stream here. Wow, we're streaming. Bam, bam, bam. I think it looks
yeah, I'm
pretty
not
good.
really all that psyched for Call of Duty. To be honest.
No, I think this last one was just too big of a letdown for me. Cause like I get excited and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get into it as Call of Duty, and then it just gets so disappointed. And I think maybe that's why the whole me not wanting to download it thing is so kind of irritating. It's because I already know that I'm just gonna spend all that time and take valuable space off my hard drive for something that's just literally gonna not be fun at all. Like, it might be in spurts, real small spurts, but overall it's not really all that fun. Um, I did enjoy playing the zombies. I think it'd be cool if the zombies was its own standalone game that went from game to game. Uh, I think that would be fun, and I think they would get a good market for that as well. Um, but as for the whole game, I, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I know one of these days I'm gonna have to install it just to go and play something, but it's just like all the rest of them. You're
I
just like, oh
think I took it
gosh.
off my Xbox. To be honest with you.
Well,
Um,
I took Warzone off the PC, and I have them all on the Xbox, but even the Xbox still require a huge ass update. And I'm like,
that's the deterrent for me right there. Is I'm like, you know what? I really don't want to play it that bad.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's fun for like a few games, but then I just don't. I'm like, I'm not going to download 120 gigabytes to to play a few games. You know,
Yep,
um, it's just not worth it. I'd rather download a bunch of single player games or something. You know. But
yep.
again, I haven't even been playing the Xbox really much since I've built this PC. So
Yeah, PC is just so convenient.
yeah,
Like streaming and playing games and stuff is so much easier on the PC alone, which is why I was slightly disappointed to learn that Overwatch is crossplay, which is awesome. It's finally crossplay, okay? But rank competitive playlists is not cross-platform, which they do to keep it fair because they haven't built a good enough balancing system to keep PC on PC or
yeah,
PC and Xbox together, or whatever. Again, it makes sense and I understand the underlying reason, but it's still frustrating. What
yeah,
I would much rather go into a match with a bunch of PC players that are gonna whoop my ass and get to try and actually grind and get better at the game and try and take them on with my console friends, um, or and my PC friends. Because if you're mixing teams with both, how would it, like it would be as fair as it could be?
yeah,
You have up to 6 people with that slight edge. Well, if you get that involved in the game or if it matters that much, but
yeah.
it doesn't have to. But you know what I'm saying? I was so disappointed about that with Overwatch. Uh,
I might change it down the line.
but yeah, eventually I'm sure they'll catch up as well. It was nice to play it last night. Jimmy and I got on and played some games, and you know, it was funny how you would the first time that I recall we were talking about xDefiant. You were saying how it reminded you of Overwatch, and I was like, okay, yeah, it'd be cool. And then I watched the video again. I'm like, dude, I can definitely see what you meant about the Overwatch with like the shielding and like the different groups of people, style of people, or factions or whatever, doing different jobs to working together. Like the point, man, if you don't have everybody doing their thing, you're gonna get your butt whooped. If you don't have someone out there actually healing your teammates and they're just trying to get kills and their job is to heal the team, then you're not gonna win. If you have a guy out there that's a tank that's not out there, uh, plowing the way for everyone and fighting them off, then you're screwed. You have shit creek, same thing with the support and all the other, the DPSs. Um, you know,
To
but I
balance that,
but I love that game because it's when you're playing it and everybody's actually working together a team. It's glorious.
yeah.
But it
The
does,
thing, the only thing with
but it never
Overwatch is that
happens.
I wish they would do a little bit better. Is like every single play of the game is a DPS. Like you don't see the healer on plays of the game. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why it was so hard to get people to heal in that game to run the healers. Like everybody wanted to run DPS because like that's the glory spot.
Hmm.
And I hope that in this case, if there are healers and things like that, that they reward those play styles as well as they reward the DPSs or the heavy guys. I hope that they reward those as evenly. Because again, that's something that's again goes back to balance. Otherwise you won't have a balanced game because nobody's going to want to play those positions. Um, yeah, and we ran into that a lot in Overwatch where it was like you don't really have anybody who wanted to play healers because there's no glory in that. you know.
No,
So
that makes
yeah,
perfect sense. The rewards and recognition are not very predominant. That is true.
Yeah.
But the healer might, be at the end of it as an accolade where they healed so much percent or so many things,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, but how cool would it be to see them like when they're in the glory, like I'm healing this guy and I'm shooting heals over here, like a
Hmm.
Mora, shooting, the
Hmm.
bouncy healing thing, and then sitting here healing a bunch of people. Like that'd be awesome. Seeing
Yeah. Yeah.
the what was his name? The orb guy.
Zangato.
Yeah, yeah.
Zangato.
Zangato. Seeing Zangato over here chucking orb of health and orb of this and just
Yep.
yeah, that would
Oh,
be
yeah.
cool to see the play of the game
Yeah.
or a sequence, like best sequence of the game or best clip, best highlight should.
Or if they did or even if they did like a short clip at the end with each class, and then like
Oh,
best
like the
DP,
best
best
healer,
healer.
the best
Yeah.
DPS, the best tank. Okay, no, that's good.
You know what I mean? Like,
See, I would stream Overwatch, and I would not bat an eye
mhm.
or worry about doing it. The reason why I don't is because I have to stream it from my Xbox to my companion app, and that thing is so wonky now because they don't
Yeah.
update it and stuff. And I know that there's a way that I can record it or get it over to my laptop. Um,
You have to get an
Probably.
external capture card.
Right. And then on the long list of things
Yeah.
that like, but
That requires a lot of money.
but I
Like
guess while I'm standing here, I might as well just look one up just for shits and giggles here.
about $160, I think.
External video card for PC. Yes, sir. Uh, yeah, you're looking shit, 300 and up. HD
Nah,
game card. Oh no, Razer Ripsaw
160,
is
160, I think.
160 at Walmart. Yeah. So then you just hook it up and it pulls that off.
You might as well get the Elgato. Yeah, Elgato capture card
The Elgato.
is yeah. I would get the Elgato at 169. The external HD 60s plus. I have the internal one, the Elgato. Oh, wow,
Right,
they're
I'm just
250
trying to
now.
find it. The Elgato HD60S for the
Yep.
142 at the Walmart. Well, to anyone out there that wants to help a brother out, you can hit me up on Venmo. That's at Sprangboro. It's $142.99. And one day I will get one, and when I do, I will be able to stream from my Xbox. Although I'm moving away from the Xbox, but it appears I can use.
Still
that
nice to
too.
have that ability.
Yes. So I'll go ahead and put that on my radar. So yeah. But I think I can get it to work with the game companion here. Actually, when we get up to stream, I might actually go
I have
play.
the internal on mine, so
I might actually go play a game of Overwatch and try and stream it and see what happens. But no promises. You said you have the internal one.
yeah, I have the internal one for my PC.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I just didn't want to have it take up another USB port.
Mm-hmm.
I already have enough things going in and out of my computer. I mean, the
Oh yeah.
webcam, the
Everything.
backlight, the keyboard, the mouse, the microphone. What else do I got? The controller, the headset.
It doesn't take long to fill them up at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I got the microphone. I got the video camera, the keyboard, the mouse, and what's the other one? Oh, the cable, the USB cable to my controller. My wired controller, yeah.
Quite a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, it is. So it's funny, just another USB thing. But hey, our world runs on USB, so. But yeah, so I don't know. I had fun playing Overwatch, but I'm excited about that xDefiant because of those same things. I've been watching it. I get a lot of gaming updates and things like that. Did you see the latest gaming updates or anything on Titanfall 1?
But that it's pretty much shut down.
Okay, so the community that loves Titanfall, and rightfully so, there's been a DDoS attacks and stuff for a long time, and the developers have never fixed that problem for cheating. But so somebody hacked the servers on Apex Legends to say that Titanfall 1 was broken and they're tired of it. Well, one fan, let me see if I'm not even going to look it up like that, but you can. So a Titanfall 1 game player, is so fed up with it that he figured out a simple method on how to fix the game, and he posted it on Reddit for the developers to saying, here, like, listen, I'm going to tell you how to do it in 12 steps. Here's how you fix the problem, because they're so frustrated and tired of it. Then of course you're like, well, is that the guy that hacked the Apex Legends? Doesn't matter. But yeah, so that's interesting news about Titanfall, is that somebody posted that. So I get a lot of gaming updates on Apex and some of them other games, and it's been blowing up with the xDefiant and the Halo betas and stuff like that, and just so excited, man.
Well, the problem with Titanfall 1 too is that EA has the servers. It's not EA's servers go up out of contract. The company that they're in contract with right now for the servers. This is the problem: is everybody's blaming Respawn. But the problem is that it's a 7-year-old game. How much resources do you want them to put into maintaining a 7-year-old game? They're not going to put a whole team of 50 people on a 7-year-old game. I'm sorry, it's not bringing in any. If it is, it's going straight to EA at this point. So, and not only that, EA is in charge of the servers. So EA has a contract with this company for the servers, and the company that they have the servers with have been known to have. So that contract is up, I think, this year. I believe I gotta find out. Whatever, it's up soon, and supposedly hopefully they'll change their servers, because I think Apex is on those servers. I believe Titanfall 2 is on those servers. So hopefully they'll be changing servers with all that, and it'll help alleviate the problem a little bit. But also it goes into, they only got 2 or 3 people that they're saying on the game. They probably have a little bit more than that, but obviously they don't want to show their hands with a bunch of hackers and say, we've got this many people on it. But yeah, so there's only so much they're going to do, and they're going to be able to do, especially for a 7-year-old game. And I know people, I loved that game. It was a lot of fun. Titanfall 2 I loved, and a lot of people are like, well, it's happening on Titanfall 2 and they're still selling it. Well, that's fucked up. They shouldn't be selling the game if it's not playable, but I've been able to play it every time I've logged in.
Yeah,
it took a little while to find a server. I've never had a problem. So, I understand these people that play every day, and that's the game they play. I understand. But you have to look at, the broader picture on it, and, the people that are at
Respawn, I don't know why people just feel so darn entitled. Like,
yeah, they're not gonna update this game. There's not going to be any updates for it. There's no updates coming for it. So what are you expecting them to do? But yeah, it's a shame because, like I said, I love Titanfall 2. But sometimes you gotta know when to stop playing a game and move on to something else. Same, Call of Duty in percentage wise, Call of Duty Warzone had more of a hacking problem for me than Titanfall 2 did. So, what makes you think that in Warzone they're trying their best, to fix it and to ban all these people, but it doesn't fix the problem. So I don't see why these people think that hacking into Apex is going to affect the change for Titanfall 2 or Titanfall 1, other than just getting the servers shut down because they'd be like, oh, well, fuck, we're sick of it.
Yeah.
And just shut the servers
No.
down.
Yep. Just be done with it.
You
And that
know?
happens.
Titanfall 1 is close to not close to the time where they're going to say, we're not paying for these servers anymore, and they close it down. So Titanfall 1 is probably pretty close to going away. I'd imagine within the next year or two. And if it still is this much of a problem a year from now, I bet you it's not going to. The servers will be shut down for that.
Yep. Just throwing money down the drain. So yeah, it's just wild to see how that's all gonna pan out. But we'll be playing some other things instead, and that'll be fun. Yeah, it's been a great week. Next week should be another great week. Just taking care of business, trying to stay positive and move forward without too many hiccups. We're all humans at the end of the day. That's why I started doing that other bass podcast because
Oh yeah, what was that podcast called?
40 to 400.
40 to 400. And you said you have how many episodes out right now?
Two.
Two.
Yeah.
So everybody should go check that out.
Yeah.
Where can they find that?
Besides at my mom's house, on YouTube.
That's another podcast.
YouTube, SoundCloud. You can find that, and you can find all your latest Sprangboro Sessions podcasts as well. Yeah. So 40 to 400. It's been different. It's just me sitting around. I'm like, all right, well, I just kind of want to record something. So I was like, well, I want to record about the bass guitar because then I can. It's me being accountable for myself and me showing, making myself humble and making myself, feel really vulnerable, and put in, the actual pathway that I'm taking and the struggles that I'm actually dealing with. Not just putting videos up that look amazing and it's like all clipped together because it was just the highlights of the whole thing. So my take on it is I'm doing a bass guitar podcast, but I'm doing it live, so it's like a TV show kind of, or like a stream show. And obviously that's the whole theory, but it becomes a podcast just of technicality. But I'm recording it on air while I'm just sitting there practicing, or I'm talking about it, about a song or about anything that it's just going through my mind. Today, I talked about the gear, the bass guitar gear that I take with me to my shows. So it's called gigging gear because it's me showing every aspect of what's in my gig bag and my bass guitar case and what bass I use, and what bass guitar amplifiers and cabinets I use now. So yeah, if you just want something to kill some time and hear about that, please feel free to check it out. 40 to 400. There's nothing else called that. Yeah. So what 40 to 400 means is, if I didn't tell you yet, it's I was trying to think of different names, like a bass podcast, bass talk, IMO, like bass talk in my opinion. But a whole bunch of names went through my head, and I just could not find anything that wasn't really taken or wasn't really, catchy to me, or let alone anyone else. And I went and I typed in what is the frequency of bass guitar, and it said 40 to 400 hertz, and I'm like, well, there it is, 40 to 400. It's the frequency range of the bass guitar on the frequency spectrum. Yeah, so that's where that came from, and I think it's pretty cool. Pretty proud of that name.
Nice,
And yeah, it's just me holding myself accountable for playing bass guitar, because that's what I that's my hugest passion. Next to my family and all the other million things I enjoy doing. But yeah, check it out. New episode I'll be recording on Tuesday. I believe I was thinking I'd do it at 6:30 or 7, but it's going to be if I can. I'm trying to keep them like a half hour, but every one of them I'm doing are like 45 minutes an hour because, like Amber said, I talk too damn much. So yeah, check it out. Anything else you want to talk about today before we call it a riggedy wrap?
think I wasn't really prepared for that. We have a bunch of topics, but
Well, today was fun. I had a great
Yeah.
time. A huge thank you to all you guys out there that have been sticking with us through this whole time. We had four streams last week, or in the past 7 days on SoundCloud. Um, I'm trying to keep it going on there as well, and I kept messing up my audio, so now I should be at the point where they're going to be on the SoundCloud, consistently.
cool, cool.
And as well for your streaming pleasures. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay focused, and don't be afraid to live your best life. Thank you very much. See you next time.